Warning, I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised.
It's a big culture of mind control too. MKUltra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
Well, we've talked about Operation Mockingbird, MKUltra mind control stuff from, this goes back decades and decades.
In the wake of World War II, the U.S. government is engaged in a large number of secret medical experiments designed to help win the Cold War. Developing techniques for mind control to create a so-called Manchurian candidate. What is the extent of these brainwashing experiments? How did the CIA become involved in such far-reaching and disturbing research?
Spy Secrets, the truth about CIA's illegal MKUltra mind control experiments using drugs, hypnosis, and electronic devices revealed in sensational new documents officials hid for decades. The records rewrite the history of the CIA's covert and illegal MKUltra project, according to researcher John Greenwald Jr., who spent almost 20 years trying to obtain the documents. From The Sun, December 7th, 2018. Disturbing details of secret mind control experiments carried out by the CIA have been revealed in newly released documents that officials have been trying to hide for decades. The new documents, released under the Freedom of Information Act, reveal how the CIA experimented on both humans and animals using drugs, hypnosis, and electronic devices as a part of the top secret and illegal mind control project MKUltra. The CIA carried out a covert program of mind control experiments during the 50s and 60s. Shockingly, the swaths of information still missing or redacted in the records could mean the CIA is still carrying out the experiments to this day, according to experts. One document detailed how the CIA planned to drug criminals awaiting trial held in a prison hospital ward in a bid to develop, quote, improved techniques in drug interrogation. Another document details the CIA's interest in developing ways to cause amnesia in humans using experiments, quote, no matter how weird, inconclusive, or unusual. It goes on to detail how they were looking to find ways of developing hypnotic speaking techniques which would control the minds of, quote, large audiences and, quote, heighten group susceptibility. Experiments which were, quote, too dangerous, too shocking, too unusual for routine testing would be of interest to us. The memo from 1956 reads, this document details plans to drug inmates at a prison hospital then interrogate them. The records also detail mind control experiments on dogs, cats, and mice with a cocktail of drugs and by implanting electronic devices, most likely a precursor to human experiments. They also researched electric fish who can zap each other with electricity and a bit to create a super soldier who could do the same thing. The records were obtained by researcher John Greenwald Jr., who published them last week on his website, The Black Vault. John told Sun Online he has been fighting since 1999 to get the CIA to hand over the documents, and says they completely rewrite the history of the controversial project. John, the owner of the Black Vault website, has made thousands of Freedom of Information requests to uncover government secrets. John said, quote, are the CIA still trying to cover up projects that took place in the 50s and 60s? In my opinion, yes. So you'll see through these records they were doing a lot of different type of research with drugs on cats and dogs and other animals. They were implanting electronic devices into animals to see whether electronic impulses can essentially control the brain. This document details how the CIA wanted to develop sinister ways of torturing and interrogating subjects. If you control and master that type of technology with cats and dogs, you're very close to doing that with humans. And so this is kind of a very interesting look into the beginning days of the research. There's also one document that specifically breaks down multiple project proposals, but the majority of the project names on the document are redacted. That means whatever these projects were, they won't even tell you the name of the project, let alone what they were doing. It shows that the entire story is not yet out, which is contrary to what the CIA wants us to believe. John believes the CIA have deliberately lied and misled him over the documents. MKUltra was the code name for a top secret and illegal program of human experiments which the CIA carried out in the early 50s until it was officially halted in 1973. By halted, I think they mean they just changed the name. The aim of the project was to identify and develop mind control drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations and torture in a bid to force confessions and control behavior. Although the CIA admitted to running the covert operation during the congressional hearings in the 1970s, they claimed that all records relating to it had been destroyed. John's battle for information started in 1999 when he requested the only documents relating to MKUltra that the CIA said had not been destroyed: 30,000 pages of financial records. The CIA finally provided John with the 30,000 pages on CD-ROM in 2004, which they claimed were a full, complete set of records related to the project. The CIA even produced a detailed 100-page report on electric fish, in a bid to create humans who could generate electricity. It wasn't until 2016 that a fellow researcher realized a staggering 4,358 pages, which the CIA claimed were on the CD, were actually missing, and John began his fight to have the missing records released. Although the CIA initially claimed John was wrong and, quote, fought him hard, he finally received 2 separate boxes of records in the past month. But most worrying, John says, is that there are still at least 1,245 pages missing, which could contain even more disturbing details. He believes the missing information may relate to top-secret mind control projects which are still taking place. This 1953 document reveals how the CIA were trying to develop a miracle truth serum that would cause victims to forget everything they said. The possibilities behind the redacted information are honestly endless. We don't know what's underneath this classified material, John said. We've known for many years that MKUltra related material was destroyed, but if you look at these documents, you realize that there was a lot going on outside of MKUltra, still drug, mind control, and manipulation related. You begin to realize that MKUltra may ultimately just be the tip of the iceberg.
The new goal is to cause an individual to become subservient to an imposed control, to the point where he will perform acts against his will and then have no memory of the act. The search for a real-life Manchurian candidate begins. To produce such an assassin, the CIA faces 2 main challenges: how to induce amnesia and how to program in new behavior. In 1957, Dr. Ewan Cameron, an eminent psychiatrist in Montreal, believes he has the answers. Cameron applies his techniques under the guise of normal therapy.
It was a 3-part technique which started with an effort to wipe out past patterns of behavior. And this was accomplished through the use of particularly intensive, repeated, high-level electroshocks until no more convulsions could be elicited from a patient.
Cameron then plays tape-recorded messages through helmets that are locked to his patients' heads. This psychic driving forces them to listen to repetitive statements for weeks on end, to program in new behavior.
Now, the final phase was to try to wipe out all recollection of what had happened, and that was accomplished by putting people to sleep for 30, 40 days, accompanied by different kinds of cocktails of drugs. Now, that's not any kind of therapy. That's a brainwashing experiment.
Any more words of advice you can give to people who are watching this and saying, there's nothing that can be done and we don't have a voice?
Well, I'd say that's not true. There's so much that can be done, and don't stop now because we've put a crack in it, and now the light will get in. So don't stop now, whatever you do.
Fucking stoned. I got a motherfucking spaceship. Oh, fuck. Cool, I got it.